There was a little girl I met in Los Angeles, South Central Los Angeles. And she told me a story about when she was about 5 years old. And she said she had woke up in the morning about 6 a.m. And her parents were arguing and bickering as usual. But she thought nothing of it. Why? Because it was the norm. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, all the lights go off. And her father grabs her mother and slings her across the room and slams her down on the bed. And he starts to beat her and beat her and beat her till she turns black and blue. And the little girl, she didn't know exactly what to do, but she said, I gotta help my mommy. So she takes her Cabbage Patch doll and she beats him on the back. Get off my mommy! Get off my mommy! And she realized that her blows didn't help anything. So the little girl picks up the phone, and when she picks up the phone, she dials 911. She knew that if she pressed that other one, she would possibly not see her father again another day in her life. So she puts the phone down. And because there was nothing she felt she could do, she decided to hide underneath the desk. See, it was a one-room efficiency, a bachelor apartment. She hid under the desk and she buried her head into her knees and she gripped her Cabbage Patch doll, trying to block out every scream, trying to block out the impact of every blow. And suddenly, there was silence. So the little girl looks up. When she looks up, her father, panting, trying to catch his breath, walks over to the door and picks up the lamp and turns the light back on. The little girl peeks up from under the desk and she's staring at her father. Her father looks at her and he says, Daddy loves you. And he walks out the door. And when he walked out the door, he slammed the door behind him so hard that everything on that wall came tumbling down. So the little girl turns and looks back at her mother. Her mother sits up. And when she sits up, all the little girl could see is sweat, blood, and tears all mixed together on her face. And so the little girl gets up from under the desk and she's staring at her mother. And she realizes that she never felt so helpless and so vulnerable ever before in her life. But see, she wanted to help her mother. She wanted to help her mother. And then she realized that she was actually enraged. And because she decided that she never wanted to feel that helpless and that vulnerable another day in her life, that little girl began to hate her mother. And she hated her for years. And she hated her mother because her mother never fought back. I came here to tell you that that little girl that felt so helpless, and so vulnerable. That little girl was me, Brooke Ashley.